everybody, so today's video is going to be figuring out what kind of skin you guys have. And I get a lot of questions of people ask me about this. They say, oh, but I'm oily, but I'm dry, you know, all this stuff. What kind of skin do I have? So today we're going to talk about how you guys can diagnose yourselves if you have dry skin, oily skin, combination skin, normal skin, or sensitive skin. Also, you guys can have kind of in between. For instance, me, I'm oily and sensitive. I have oily skin, but my skin is very, very sensitive at times, and then other times it's just not sensitive. And it's like I can put anything on my face and it won't do anything to it. So it's kind of weird. Sometimes I'm combination, sometimes I'll be a little bit dry in the winter, but I'll be really, really oily in the T-zone, so I'm combination. So be aware that you guys can be more than one of these types. It can be a combination of two or even more. So I'm going to kind of tell you what each one of them is. So first, let's talk about if you have dry skin. One way that you can test it is just on a normal day to take a paper towel or even a blotting paper and press it onto your skin. If it comes back completely dry and your skin is still a little bit flaky, that probably means you have dry skin. Dry skin is usually tighter, it's usually a bit more flaky. If you know that you have flakes that kind of peel off sometimes and it's not very oily, and when you do that spot test it comes back. Also, when you're done with the shower, if you get out and you notice that your skin is very, very tight, that means you have a tendency to have drier skin. Dry skin is very, very mattified and it does tend to have smaller pores, but it can cause flaking and peeling and actually be more prone to wrinkles and other things like that. It can be more prone to aging and can be a little bit irritating at sometimes. Now, the best things to do for dry skin is to use a very, very gentle cleanser that's meant for dry skin, and if you need to moisturize, use a moisturizer for dry skin. A lot of moisturizers will actually help combat oil and make your skin drier, so if you do use a moisturizer, make sure it says for dry skin. Also, what's the best for dry skin is actually masks, moisture masks in particular. It'll teach the body how to create its own moisture, how to create its own lubricant, and using these masks is a great way to either weekly or monthly just bring the skin back up to normal. Next, if you have oily skin, how you can test this is that if you get out of the shower, you're normally, you're not tired or anything once you wash your face. Throughout the day, you notice that you have like really, really shiny skin, or in photos your skin is always shiny. And you can take a blotting paper or a paper towel and put it on your skin. Now, if your skin comes back with a little bit of moisture on the towel all up here in the T-zone and even here on the cheeks and stuff like that, it means that you have oily skin. It means your skin produces a lot of sebum. Usually people with oily skin have more acne, but the good thing about oily skin is that as you age, other than the acne, your skin generally doesn't get as many wrinkles and your skin ages without as much sagging or wrinkles. But acne can be a big problem for oily skin just because there is so much oil there to kind of feed the acne to grow. Also, oily skinned people generally have pores that are a little bit larger and easier to clog. To help with oily skin, you should really think about your diets. If you eat a lot of carbohydrates and things like that, you may want to cut those out. Also, if you have oily skin, take care in your cleanser. Make sure that you use one that cleanses all the oil off completely, and use a very, very thick moisturizer at night. That moisturizer will really, really help to tell your skin, hey skin, we don't need to create as much oil. So the skin will produce less oil because it's getting oil from a moisturizer. It's getting moisture from moisturizer. So that's how to know if you have oily skin and how to treat it. Hi, Cuckoo. He's a bugaloo. I love you. Next is combination skin, and you can't really test this in and out of the shower. The way to test combination skin is to see where you're oily and where you're dry. Usually if you're oily in this area, the T-zone, where you have a little bit here and then a little bit down the nose, but you're pretty much dry or mattified everywhere else, that means you have oily skin. Again, you can press a tissue paper or a blotting paper here just to kind of figure that out. Combination skin is actually very, very typical, and a lot of people, have the oiliness here, but they won't have it over here. Maybe they'll even be dry or flaky or peely, and it's kind of hard because people who don't know that they have combination skin are usually using the wrong treatments to treat their skin. I wonder what kind of skin he has. He has cute skin. Don't you, poo-poo? Yeah. Now, if you have combination skin, you need to treat your skin two different ways. You need to treat the oily and you need to treat the dry. For the dry, you should be using masks and a moisturizer that's formulated for dry skin. Should also be using a very gentle cleanser, but for the oily areas, you really do need to remove that oil. And make sure that you use a really thick moisturizer here to kind of treat the skin at night and tell it, hey, we don't need to be oily anymore. Next, we'll get into sensitive skin. And you can tell if you have sensitive skin by the products that you use. If even the gentle products or the normal products tend to burn your skin, or you tend to itch or peel or get red or stuff like that, probably means that you have sensitive skin. You need to buy products that say formulated for sensitive skin or super gentle. Sensitive skin can really become inflamed and irritated easily, so you have to use a lot of care in your products. Sometimes organic is better, but really you have to look at the ingredients and make sure that you're using something that's formulated gently. It's natural, it doesn't have to be natural, but something that's made with care for your skin type. And sometimes that takes a lot of research, and like me, sometimes you can have sensitive skin that's still really oily and kind of in between too. You could have dry skin that's really sensitive. So make sure that you know your skin type and that you use products according to your needs. Last but not least is normal skin. Now normal skin you can test by putting on your face the little towel or blotting paper. It won't come off with tremendous amounts of oil, but you're not going to feel dry either. When you get out of the shower, you're not going to be dry. You're not going to have a lot of flakes and stuff like that. And your skin is just overall normal. If that's you, you are so lucky. Your skin is not necessarily prone to aging, but it's not necessarily prone to acne or things like that. Normal skin is pretty much that. It's normal. But then again, what is normal nowadays? For normal skin, you want to make sure that you use products that don't offset that. Don't go for oily products, don't go for dryness products. You could use sensitive skin products, but use effective products. Make sure that they're formulated for regular skin and use something that's not too harsh, but not too gentle. If you guys have normal skin, you're really lucky. Normal skin usually has a really healthy complexion and really good blood circulation, so you want to make sure that stays there by exercising regularly, eating right, and really intaking fluids so that even though your skin doesn't have tons of oil, it's not completely dry and it still has nice moisture and bounce. So I hope that this helps you guys figure out what kind of skin type you have and even what's best for treating your type of skin. If you guys have certain questions, if you know things that I don't, or different ways to test what kind of skin you have, be sure to post them in the bottom comments below so that we can all talk about it and learn. So I hope that you guys like this, I hope that you found it informative, and I look forward to talking to you all in the next video. Love you guys! Bye!